Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. Hope everybody's having a great day, a great weekend. Thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Yeah, you know it. A weekend update means we have plenty to talk about here. This is Invest 95L right in the center of your screen, right in this red shaded area. This could potentially become our next named tropical storm. Could it become Tropical Storm Emily shortly in the next day or two? We'll take a look, and there's going to be systems forming behind this storm that actually might take a very similar path to Invest 95L later next week. Could we actually see development out of these as well? And we're tracking Tropical Storm Doksuri here. Doksuri, known as Tropical Storm Egay here in the Philippines, could actually affect parts of the northern Philippines with outer rain bands and a devastating landfall potentially here in the island of Taiwan. We'll take a look at all the effects here with Doksuri and beyond. And is this broken record pattern, is it about to come to an end as the trough? Could it actually be lifting out of eastern North America and allowing the massive heat ridge to take over towards the end of July here? Let's get into it. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, bell notification button, question or comment down below. Share the video with all your friends and family. It really does help. Let's get the word out. Here is Invest 95L on the visible satellite photo. A beautiful satellite photo here. You can see showers and thunderstorms exploding on the eastern end here. Lots of shower and thunderstorm activity. Structurally, the system is very small, but it's actually very organized. So we're going to continue to watch this and the system behind it as well. We could be watching this system possibly develop over the next several days. And there is Dawn spinning out over the open North Atlantic. So starting off with the European model here, here is our area of development, that red shading. This is Invest 95L right here. That you can see the low level circulation spinning here. Not a tremendous amount of moisture because this is a very small circulation, but as we approach the 24th here, as we go into Monday, you can see this system's really going to start to become a little more formidable here. Here's the Lesser Antilles. Yeah, high pressure steering it directly westward. You can see it up here off on your screen. But actually, as this system approaches on the 25th, you can see it really starts to become a little bit more formidable here. Showers and thunderstorms coming through the Lesser Antilles pretty readily here. You can see the 25th into the 26th is going to be the days where it's going to be the most rainiest. Definitely looking at showers and thunderstorms likely. And then you can see it kind of spins towards the west here on the 26th as it gets into the Caribbean. On the morning of the 26th, you can see the outline of it right here. That is going to be a system that we'll have to see if this can actually traverse the Caribbean because, as you know, this is a graveyard for tropical systems. Now, it looks like it's actually going to bring some beneficial rains to some areas of the Caribbean, although we'll have to see if we can get into the Cayman Islands and Jamaica. It looks like it's going to go a little bit further south here onto the European model. But look at this. By the time of the 28th comes, look at all this moisture here. Even across the eastern Gulf of Mexico here, we could be looking at showers and thunderstorms. Whatever becomes of this, whether it becomes a stealth low that regenerates once it reaches the western Caribbean, Gulf, or Central America, we'll have to keep an eye on it here. Behind this system, look at this system right here. Let's just back it up just a little bit. I'm actually going to show you how this system's going to evolve behind Invest 95L, which could be almost a carbon copy initially. Here's the system exiting on about the 24th here. You see this big old area of low pressure. Yeah, this system actually has a chance. And it is a bigger circulation, it looks like. Here it is by the 25th, initializing just south of the Cape Verde Islands. So here, let me just outline. There's the Cape Verde Islands. Here is this system, pretty much a big wide open circulation here. And that is going to continue westward here. Take a look at this. Yeah, this tries to develop, and by right about the time of the 28th, look at it. It looks like it's exactly right in the area that Invest 95L is in. And yes, we could be looking at another tropical system. So whatever happens to this, it looks like it's going to be a very broad area of low pressure and a much larger circulation than Invest 95L. And as we head towards the 31st here, it's getting into parts of the northern Lesser Antilles and maybe eventually affecting parts of Puerto Rico here. Take a look at this. So yeah, to recap this here on the European model, it is a distinct possibility that Invest 95L could become our next tropical storm. Could it become Tropical Storm Emily? So taking a look at the GFS here is our Invest 95L system as we continue to go through time. Yes, it's developing by the 25th here. You can see really looking like a tropical storm, potentially maybe Emily. Moving through the Lesser Antilles, especially the central part, right around the morning of the 25th here. And that's got a lot of moisture once it starts to develop. So this is by the 26th at 11 a.m. You're still dealing with some heavier showers and thunderstorms to the north, central, and central part of the Lesser Antilles. The system continues westward here on the GFS through the 27th, pushing towards the island of Hispaniola here. So yeah, definitely a graveyard for tropical systems. We'll have to see if this turns into the stealth low. The GFS actually is bringing some rainfall here to parts of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. That would definitely be welcome for you. And then re-energizes this system down towards Honduras and Latin America here. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. Whatever happens with this system, it is likely to potentially regenerate once it reaches the west. It looks like the GFS is keeping most of the energy towards Central America here, but look at this. There's a refiring up here on the western tip of Cuba. And if we take a look at our next system, yeah, it's showing up in about the same exact location it is on the European model. Let's just zoom out here. We can see that system as it comes off the Cape Verde Islands right around the 24th, 25th, 26th. There it is. You can see it traversing and showing up right in that exact same location right around the 28th as it was on the European model, showing up very readily here. And yes, this is a very much bigger circulation than Invest 95L. Continues to push towards the west here, towards the 30th, the 31st. There it is, a little bit further to the south than the European run here, but nevertheless in the very much a very similar area here. So let's take a look at the HRRR hurricane model here. You can see this system, here's the simulated radar essentially. Yeah, this is going to be heading towards the west. This is towards the 25th at 5 a.m. You can see it still looks a little disorganized, but it's really going to start to organize as it approaches the Lesser Antilles, closing off that area of low pressure, likely becoming a tropical storm as it approaches right in the central part of the Lesser Antilles or southern section. Of course, you know the northern side with heading west system is going to be the worst side of the storm, so likely becoming a tropical storm by the 25th or the 26th here. And if we take a look at Invest 95L intensity forecast, so yeah, the next 24 to 36 hours, it may become a tropical depression here. And then look at this. If we take right down the center of the guidance, by at least like Monday or Tuesday, we could be heading into tropical storm territory. And keeping it as a tropical storm, there's just a few models that take this up towards hurricane. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on this. So here it is, sea surface temperature anomalies. This is insane. Look at the Gulf here. We're running a good 2 to as much as 3.5, 4+ degrees Celsius above average. Look at the MDR, the Atlantic, East Coast even. If this were not an El Nino season with more mid-level wind shear and upper-level wind shear, we would have tremendous explosion of storms. Mid-level dry air gives us a good idea of where the dust is. You can see it's right in the MDR here. There's our low pressure initializing, another tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa. Big old dry air here across parts of the Caribbean. As we go in time here, you can actually see how this plays out. It seems like the dry air starts to move a bit to the north of our Invest 95L system here, and there's our big wave coming off the coast of Africa. So the dry air is mostly staying away for this, mostly this part of the, this problem area. So as this continues towards, the 25th into the 26th, I don't see any dry air posing any major risk here to this system. You can see our big system out here off the Cape Verde Islands getting pretty prominent here. Our high pressure keeping these systems moving towards the west. So rainfall here across the Western Caribbean. I'm not going to lie here, it is not going to be very wet here. Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Hispaniola, Cuba, Puerto Rico. Yeah, you're getting upwards maybe 10 millimeters, 15, 20 at the most, but it's not a lot. And there's our area across parts of Central America looking a little less wet as well. because it's just, we're not getting as many tropical systems here initially. You can see here off the corner of your screen here, this is associated with Invest 95L. We'll have to see if later in the week we can actually get the system in here. Rainfall here across the Lesser Antilles will be a bit more on the robust side here, obviously, with what's going on with Invest 95L. Would not be surprised if many areas approach 50, 70, 80, especially the central part of the Lesser Antilles could get upwards of 100 millimeters of rainfall through Wednesday or Thursday of this coming week. And watching Tropical Storm Doksuri out here, also known as Egay out here towards the Philippines. Yeah, take a look at this. This is going to become a massive typhoon as it spreads here towards the 23rd, the 24th. Look at this. The good news is this is going to stay mostly away from the northern Philippines. You are going to get some outer bands with this and some very heavy surf, but this is probably likely going to become a Taiwan problem here. As you can see, this is going to become quite a major typhoon here. Whether it becomes a super typhoon, it's possible. Look at that, towards 130 with gusts to 160. We're definitely going to have to keep an eye on this storm. The European model really blowing this storm up. Let's just zoom in a little bit more. So here's the northern coast of the Philippines, and there's Taiwan, there's the coast of China, and there's Japan up there. So here we go. This system going to continue to blast towards the northwest here. You can see it's going a little bit to the left of guidance here, but this is going to bring a landfalling storm, according to the European model here, right into the mountainous terrain on the east end of the island. So yeah, that'll tremendously weaken the storm as it heads off towards China, towards the 20. So we're looking at landfall right around the 26th here. So this is going to continue north, and then a second landfall here into China. And it starts to look like the system starts to slow down here as it gets into China, and then it becomes a tremendous heavy rain event where it will begin to unravel this system and produce extremely heavy rainfall there west of Shanghai and getting up towards Beijing. So yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. And then it starts to plow north towards North Korea there, where it gets some very, very heavy rain. Now, is there any other systems we need to worry about here other than Doksuri? Well, take a look at this. We have this system that's going to start spinning up here towards the 28th, just behind Doksuri. So you can see this system, it's actually on a more trajectory east of our main system here, our main typhoon by this point. And look at that. It starts to develop here and head towards Japan. So this is towards the 30th. Into the 31st. We have plenty of time to watch this system, and then it starts to arc a little bit towards the west here. Let's take a look at the GFS. And here we go, GFS with Doksuri or Egay here. Take a look at this. Yeah, this system on the GFS is going east of the guidance here. Take a look at this buzzsaw. This looks pretty ominous. But there is something interesting right at the end here. The eye does start to approach the northern tip of Taiwan here. So that is a change with the GFS with this latest run, keeping it a little bit more westerly, much more westerly than it was the previous run, coming more a bit in line with the European model. And yeah, this is going to be tremendous damage here, potentially becoming a super typhoon here. Take a look at that, upwards of 130, 160 miles per hour gusts there. So yeah, this could definitely become a two landfall system, once in Taiwan and then once here in China, kind of washes out to the northwest there. And you're definitely, as this system, approaches, just moves just to the north of the Philippines here, you're definitely going to get that southwest flow. I showed you on the European model as well. Moisture is going to come into the northern Philippines, regardless here of how close that center comes to the northern Philippines. Now, we got another system behind it here. Was showing up here on the European model, showing up on the GFS as well. We got a big old moisture plume that's going to continue. And yeah, this system becoming very tight here. It looks like a smaller circulation, but yeah, you got to watch these because they can become even more wound up. And unfortunately, by the 30th, it's also approaching Taiwan. Very mountainous there on the eastern part of Taiwan. So yeah, these can do a number on these systems, these higher elevations of Taiwan, kind of a buffer to China here. But yeah, then another landfall there in South China. And then look at that, another typhoon potentially here on our last frames here, August 2nd. Plenty of time to watch this. Could this actually come up and hit Japan? It is quite possible. We'll keep an eye on it here. All right, so even though this system at this point does not look like Doksuri is going to make landfall in the Philippines, it is going to bring some moisture here into the west coast here of the Philippines, Manila on northward in particular here. As this system passes to the northeast, look at how these rain bands start to form and push in from the southwest. And this is very typical of what you get with the system that's just passing here to the northeast. Thankfully, this is a sigh of relief for the most part here off of the northern Philippines as we continue in time here. So let's get into total precipitation. Yeah, this is going to be quite a rainmaker, this Typhoon Doksuri here, or Egay. Yeah, it's going to produce probably on the order of 500 plus millimeters of rainfall here. And if we can go out a little bit further, let's go to the previous run. You can actually see, yeah, parts of Taiwan, it's 500 plus millimeters of rainfall here. This is nothing to mess around with. Even parts of the northern Philippines could be getting upwards of 250, 300 millimeters of rainfall on the outer bands of this system. All right, our HRRR future radar, you're going to discover it's actually going to be a nice weekend, except if you're in parts of the Midwest up here, the western lakes, and then along the Gulf Coast. Yeah, there is some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms in a lot of areas. You can see here as we head through the rest of your Saturday, it's actually looking mostly clear. Yeah, you do have some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, but it's mainly 10% or less of a chance. The big area is here along the Gulf Coast region, where you're going to continue to see these big gully washers develop here with the threat of, some severe weather. So damaging wind, large hail, maybe an isolated tornado as we head throughout the evening hours of your Saturday. Take a look at this. You got some really big thunderstorms here across southeastern Louisiana, stretching across southern Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and eventually here getting into the panhandle of Florida. You got these storms up here in Wisconsin and Iowa as well. And as we continue to watch the future radar here, you can get an idea of where the storminess is going to lie. They're kind of pushing to the north of Chicago here, and the New Orleans area just getting very stormy overnight into your Sunday morning here. Take a look at this. Yeah, you got an explosion of tropical moisture here across the Gulf, and that's going to be converging here onto parts of the area of Tampa and Orlando here as we get towards 1 p.m. on Sunday here. So as we continue to go in time, you see the common theme here. It's much drier across parts of the east and much wetter here across the Gulf Coast region as we get a lot of tropical moisture. Now, as we get towards the 23rd here, Sunday at 5 p.m., you can see some big-time thunderstorms developing here into parts of the eastern Carolinas. Even some isolated showers and thunderstorms up here into parts of southeastern Pennsylvania. Maybe a chance here around Cleveland and Pittsburgh as well. I mean, this is not going to be an all-day event by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, you could have some stray showers and thunderstorms with some instability here, but mostly dry. We're mostly eking out a pretty nice weekend here, except if you live in the southeast states. And then towards Monday morning, that active weather here moves towards the mid-Atlantic here. Virginia Beach area up to Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. You see some showers and thunderstorm activity pushing in. I have plenty more weather momentarily. Don't go anywhere, but here's a quick word from my affiliate. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. All right, so starting off with the Euro here, your weather pattern, there's that trough continuing across the eastern part of North America. It's spinning off this upper level low. There's that blocking up there in Greenland. It looks like wintertime, but I assure you this is going to start lifting out by next week. Look at that, Tuesday the 25th. You could start to see the influence of that, high pressure, that heat dome. Yes, that does mean your temperatures are going to be soaring here across parts of the east. And as we go with your medium range forecast climate model here, we'll go into the rest of July into August here. You can see as we go into right around August 3rd, we do start to get the evidence of that trough kicking in across the northeast again. And unfortunately, this was supposed to be a month where we'd see less troughiness, and now it's actually kicking back in. So, yeah, we see a temporary break from the trough the last week of July here, but unfortunately, it looks like it's coming roaring back into August until you get to about mid-August. But even then, look at this. This is kind of crazy if you think about it. This just starts to set up more like a wintertime pattern once again here across eastern North America. So taking a look at your European model here, it looks pretty quiet with the exception here for the Gulf Coast region this weekend. Take a look at this. Yeah, we have showers and thunderstorms continuing. Out west, you got the heat dome. That's going to be spreading east. We got some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms here across parts of the lakes, but for that matter, it's not going to be too much. Very small chance. Sunday, that high pressure crest overhead here across the east. We have continued showers and thunderstorms here along the Gulf Coast. And as we head into Monday, we start to see a little bit of a spin up here off the East Coast. You're pretty used to this here in the Carolinas. This is with response to that energy here across parts of the Gulf Coast. And that's going to continue to spin northward here and spread showers and thunderstorms here up into parts of the Northeast. This is good news here up into Canada. Quebec and Ontario help the wildfire situation. You can see showers and thunderstorms continuing here across parts of upstate New York, Pennsylvania, and parts of western New England. And as we head into Tuesday into Wednesday, high pressure really starts to crest overhead here, with the exception for parts of the Ohio Valley, especially Indiana, northern Ohio here, northern upstate New York, and northern New England, where we'll see showers and thunderstorms continuing. But you see high pressure is pretty much dominating the east here as we spread the heat eastward. So taking a look at rainfall totals here across the east here on our European models, we head through the weekend. You can see it's mainly the Gulf Coast areas, the panhandle of Florida here, southeast Louisiana, all the way up into the eastern Carolinas. You're no stranger to these showers and thunderstorms. Look at here across the lakes as well, the western lakes, Michigan up to Minnesota. And look at that, southeast Canada getting some beneficial rains. As we continue to pile on that from Monday into Tuesday, yeah, you see some showers and thunderstorms developing across upstate New York, eastern Pennsylvania here, northern New England. That'll count for about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch on average here. And here we go, zooming into the Northeast. We'll take a look. You're mostly dry this weekend until we get into Monday. It's later Monday afternoon into Tuesday. Look at this. Yeah, we pile on about 1/2 to about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of rainfall here on average. Pretty much dry here over here in the Ohio Valley and then the coastal sections of New Jersey and New England. As we take a look at what this heat dome is going to do with temperatures here, look at this. You can see where the heat dome is out west and in the central states. This is going to be spreading east Sunday. Look at this. Temperatures really starting to rise back east here. Definitely going to keep an eye out for this heat as it spreads east. Take a look at this. Yeah, triple digits all the way up here into parts of the northern plains. This is all heading east. You can see the heat is on up here into parts of the Ohio Valley and Northeast where you begin into the mid to upper 80s. And look at this towards Monday. Yeah, we continue to warm this up pretty rapidly here. You can see there just seems to be no end, and eventually this heat is going to make it up into the Great Lakes and Northeast as we head towards Tuesday. Look at this. Yeah, we're still holding on here to mid to upper 80s. That is good. We're holding true, but look what you start to see out into the Northwest here, cooling down a little bit. That's going to start shifting this heat to the east, and as we continue throughout the weekend of Wednesday, now you're getting into the 90s throughout the Ohio Valley and Northeast, and look at these 100s. This is heading east as well. Of course, it will moderate some as it heads to the east, but look at this towards Thursday. Yeah, we're getting into the mid-90s here across parts of the big cities of the Northeast. This is spreading to the Northeast. Look at this, 90s into parts of Ohio. Throughout the Carolinas, look at this. You've been rainy most of the summer. Now you're getting into the mid-90s as well. Extended outlook for my hometown viewers. Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania. Look at this. Sunday, get out there and enjoy. Sunny, 86 degrees. Into Monday and Tuesday, there will be an afternoon shower or thunderstorm possible between 3 and 8 p.m. both days. It won't be an all-day event, so don't worry about that. It'll only be scattered about, but it will be the chance up a 1/10 to 1/4 inch locally higher possible. It will be warm. Look at that throughout the week. We really push that heat dome north and east over our region. Yeah, 93 degrees for Thursday. That heat will be building quite rapidly. As always, thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Don't forget to visit my link down below for my Hurricane 2023 Outlook. If you haven't visited that, I go over the entire tropical season, what I think is going to happen. Also, don't forget my Trilogy Maps link affiliate down below. Use the code MeteoMark to get 20% off your order. I do make a little bit of commission off that, so just to disclose that. So there it is, and the link's down below. At Facebook MeteoMark, you can visit me, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern. It's also MeteoMark.com, Twitter @WeatherEastern. Thanks for joining me for this edition